Hello, this is Edgar Arceo from the Arceo Financial Group, and in this video I'm going to explain about the compound interest in the real world, not what we learn in school, and also why the 770 account works. So I'm going to be using real numbers on both scenarios. So in order to describe the power of compound interest, there's this financial guru that was very famous about maybe 50 years ago, and he made a study about compound interest. His name was Richard Russell, and many current financial gurus still use this example to teach people how to invest. So I'm going to give you that study really quick. There are just two investors, investor A and investor B. Investor B opens an IRA at age 21. He wants this for retirement. So he starts at age 21, and for 7 consecutive years, he puts $12,000 in his IRA. Now, of course, the normal person will allocate those funds into a mutual fund, right? So after 7 years, he stops. No further contributions. Now, investor A makes no contributions until age 28. This is the age when investor B was finished with his contributions. And then investor A faithfully saves $12,000 every single year until age 67 at the same theoretical rate. Now, on this example, or Richard Russell was saying that maybe we can put a 10% rate of return. So then Richard Russell says false. Let's study these results. So as you can see, I put an interest rate of 10%, $12,000 contribution. This is investor A, investor B. If we go all the way down, whenever they retire at age 67, investor A has $5.3 million net earnings, but investor B has $5.5 million in net earnings. So B, who made his contributions early and who made only 7 contributions, ends up with more money than A, who made 40 contributions but at a later time. So investor A had a pile of 5.3 million, investor B has 5.5 million. So that draws our attention each and every time. I mean, that's why this article was a hit. Simply because investor B started 7 years earlier. So the moral of the story was, don't wait. But now let's study it a little more careful. My question will be, is this real life? Or in other words, what's wrong with this picture? Can you see what's the problem here? What's wrong with this picture? Well, the rate of return is consistent. World doesn't work like that. The world is not consistent. A 10% return each and every year. I mean, Richard Russell, like here in the South they will say, bless his heart, he was not very realistic because that was the end of his analysis. And do you know that most of financial gurus and book authors that talk about finances and investments don't go any further than this? They never talk about this other stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So what will happen if we put a real numbers, real interest rates? Let's use the Dow Jones, for example, and see how that will look. Now we don't have 10% anymore. It's not stable anymore. We have big rates of returns and we have some negatives. Of course, the green is when the stock market was up, the red when the stock market was down. Now we're starting to see real life. And this is what happens with mutual funds, and anything that is tied to the stock market is not consistent. So as you can see, for example, on 2000, we have 3 in a row. That was the dot-com crash. Then 2008, of course, a lot of people lost 35, some people more than 40% of their funds right there. So if you see now the results, well, It doesn't look like the financial gurus promised us, right? Now person A is winning. So investor B thought he was going to get 5.5 million, but now he's just getting 1.6. That's a lot, lads. That's pretty bad, right? Can it get any worse? Well, yes, it can. Why? Well, we need to add some things here. For example, taxes. I'm saying that there's no taxes here, and that's just a perfect world, but that's not a real world. So let's add maybe a 28% tax bracket. Let's see, investor B. Oh, now he just have $800,000. Again, he was thinking about 5 million, 5.5. Now he has 800,000, far below what he was expecting. But now if you were paying attention, there is one more variable here, and that is what? Fees. Now, if you're putting your money in a mutual fund, they are going to charge you from 2 to maybe 4, 5%. Let's say that they are charging him 3%. If we put that in consideration, let's see what happens. Now we see the real picture. Now this is real world and not a perfect Cinderella world. Was even was that even worth the effort? This is not a nice picture. Can you see now why it is so hard for people to accumulate money for retirement? We all know that at that age we need a lot more money to survive. It's almost impossible for the average American to have a successful retirement plan. And there is one cardinal rule of compound interest and why this is not working. The rule is do not lose money. So every time this investor is losing money, he's destroying the compound interest. It just doesn't work. So as good as compound interest can be, what a lot of people miss is the word uninterrupted compound interest. That was uninterrupted compound interest, and that is one of the many benefits that a 7/7 account will give you. Let's look at the same example, maybe putting $12,000 for 7 years and see how that will look. I name him the early saver, age 21, putting $12,000 premium. After that, no more premiums after that. If we go down, age 67, like the other example, we have a total cash value. This is the total cash value, the money that he can use, of $1.1 million, with, by the way, a debt benefit of almost $2 million at this point. Now, one of the benefits of the 770 account is that it's tax-free and it's already considering any fees and things like that. Now, can you see the power of the real compound interest? What was the difference? Well, when you have a 770 account, you have uninterrupted compound interest through all this period of time. That was really the main difference. And this is not me putting random numbers. This is actual numbers of the stock market and actual numbers for a 770 account using participant whole life insurance. And not just that, but I am using the current dividend rate, which is one of the worst dividend scales that these companies have had in a very long time. So for more information about this, please send me an email or give us a call. And this is just scratching the surface. There are so many other benefits that I would love to tell you about. This is really just scratching the surface. But for more information, send me an email. My information is right there. And if you have any questions, please send me all your questions that you may have. Thank you and God bless you.